Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up in our health segment tonight, we will learn about pre-diabetes and who might be at risk. First tonight, one Maryland county is set to ban indoor vaping or electronic cigarettes. Joining us to discuss that are Ron Ward with the Consumer Advocates for Smoke-Free Alternatives Association and John O'Hara, president of the Maryland Group Against Smokers Pollution. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for being with us. Ron, you brought a couple of the devices. For people who haven't seen an electronic cigarette, a number of versions of them. What they do is, it's like a mini vaporizer in there. How would you describe it?
Well, they create an aerosol from a liquid. What you have is, I thought this rolling off.
And they roll downhill,
and
too.
some of them will roll downhill, yes, sir. First, you have a battery. Some of these batteries regulate power, some of them do not. That battery fires a coil, or heats up a coil.
Little higher.
Excuse me, heats up a coil. Okay? That coil is fed with liquid, with a liquid solution. Okay? It is heated up, it is turned into an aerosol, and it's inhaled by the user. It comes in many different nicotine levels, anywhere from, let's say, 2.4% would be considered one of the highest, to all the way down to 0% nicotine. So some of these devices contain no nicotine at all.
You're an attorney by trade, but you opened up a vape shop. Mm-hmm. How's business?
It's good. Prior to opening the vape shop, which was will be 2 years on December 18th, 6 years ago I discovered electronic cigarettes. I had been a smoker since I was 12 years old, back in the day when anyone could buy cigarettes anywhere. I would go in my little Catholic school uniform, and I'd go to the convenience store next door, and they would sell me cigarettes, and they'd let us smoke them in there when it was raining or it was cold. I quit one time for 4 years, another time for 4 years, another time for 2 years. About 6 years ago, I discovered electronic cigarettes. When I started using them, I thought that they were a miracle. They satisfied my cravings for nicotine, and they gave me that hand-to-mouth.
In terms of nicotine delivery, a lot of people try nicotine gum or patches. How's it different?
Well, as far as its toxicity, not much different at all. There are tobacco-specific nitrosamines or carcinogens. Those carcinogens, even according to the 2009 FDA study, are almost identical in electronic cigarette liquid as they are in the patch, the gum, or the lozenge. The difference is, and why these are more effective than the patch, the gum, and the lozenge, is not only do they deliver the nicotine, but they also give you that hand-to-mouth, that reinforced habit that people have had for in many cases, over decades.
So, John, the Prince George's County Council just voted 8-1, I think, to ban electronic cigarettes indoors in the county, in public places. You testified on that. What do you think of the decision?
Well, I think it's an excellent decision, and I might add, Jeff, that it isn't only Prince George's County that has done this. Howard County has passed a bill almost identical to the one in Prince George's County. Montgomery County has also. The city of Baltimore passed a bill, although it's very similar to the other three, but they exempt bars and restaurants. They allow vaping in bars and restaurants.
And Prince George's is exempting the new casino.
Prince George's, at the moment, they're exempting the new casino, and we're going to try to work around that. They've promised to come back to that. The casino won't be opening for, I think, about a year now, and we're hoping that when it opens that vaping is not allowed. Or if it's allowed, it's only allowed, well, we don't care if they vape or not, as long as they vape in the smoking area. That's one of the things I want to point out, is that none of these bills that have been passed so far, or none of the bills that, see, we've had bills in the Maryland General Assembly for the last 2 years, too, to control vaping in public places. They have not got out of the committee. Ron has actually been down there testifying against at least one time, I remember.
So,
And I think this is a big mistake because we are not trying to do away with vaping, okay? I want to emphasize that. We are not trying to do away with vaping. All we're trying to do is do away with vaping around us, around non-smokers, okay, around in public places. And let me tell you something, Jeff. When these things first came out, I was like Ron. You know, I've been fighting the tobacco industry for almost 40 years. And they are rotten people. I'll say that anywhere. I've said that many, many places, okay? And so I even went so far as to get, I have a next door neighbor who is a smoker. He had 2 children. He had health problems. I tried to get him to quit smoking. I went out and I bought a kit. Now that kit had 4 different sections. You heard Ron talk about you can put different levels of nicotine in these things. You know, it was supposed to cut him down. Each one of the partial kits was supposed to have less nicotine in it. And I forget, I think I paid $240 or something for the thing, but I gave it to him for a Christmas present. He's still smoking it, okay? But in the meantime, in trying to get these bills passed and having people like Jeff and others come out and fight us on these bills, they try to make it sound like we're trying to do away with e-cigarettes. And
so I guess there are 2 issues here. There's the larger question of whether it's helpful for a smoker if this can help somebody, the pros and cons of somebody using it recreationally. But the immediate question is, should it be treated the same as a tobacco cigarette in terms of smoking laws?
I say no. Many people, like Mr. O'Hara, see this as an extension of smoking, when I see it as a solution to the problem of smoking. If we're looking to eliminate smoking pollution, this is a helpful thing. This allows people to get their nicotine in what I contend and what many public health scientists contend is a safer manner than smoking. And a lot of people still refer to it as smoking. There is no smoke. There's no carbon monoxide. There's no tar. There have been many studies that opponents of electronic cigarettes will point out, but they fail to realize, or either on purpose or by accident, I don't know, they fail to realize that the dose makes the poison. So they stated, like for instance, the FDA in 2009 stated that these things contained formaldehyde and diethylene glycol. What they failed to disclose was that they were in trace amounts that weren't at toxic levels. The same thing with particulates, in trace levels, not that anywhere near the level of cigarettes.
Let me jump in for a second just to remind our viewers that if you have a question about vaping, you can give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You could also tweet your questions. The Twitter address is @MPT News. I won't ask you to light up or whatever you would call it in the studio, just in deference to the other people in the room here. But the pictures I've seen, when you do that, you get a big cloud of stuff.
Okay.
Can't be good for you.
Why do you say that?
Because it's a big cloud of stuff.
Because
it's not fresh air.
That's why. That's
no,
why.
I'm not saying necessarily it's as bad as cigarette smoke.
Okay. It looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, so it is a duck, is what you're saying. That's not
you
the
get
case
a cloud
at all.
of stuff.
That's not the case at all. It could not be further from the truth. Excuse me, but it couldn't be further from the truth. These things are the anti-cigarette. These things are helping people quit to smoke cigarettes, and I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't laugh at me, Mr. O'Hara. There have been a number of studies that state that these things are on a magnitude of 95 to 99% safer than cigarettes.
Well, Mr. O'Hara, do you disagree that these are helping some people quit smoking?
You know, they may well be, but lots of things help people quit smoking. But the point is, there is still harmful things in that tobacco. First of all,
well, it's not tobacco,
Jeff,
right?
I mean, in the e-cigarette. First of all, people don't know what is in them. You go online. I went online today. 81 different. I just called up electronic cigarettes. 81 different manufacturers, most of these in foreign countries. This is a totally unregulated product. I'm going to say that again. It is a totally unregulated product. These things are actually exploding.
Why isn't it? The FDA hasn't done anything.
Because when the famous FDA bill in 2009 was written, it did not include e-cigarettes. You got to remember, e-cigarettes is a relatively recent thing, and I think Ron will allude to that. You know, it was a relatively new thing, and they were purposely, for some reason, omitted from the 2009 bill that was signed by Obama.
The statistics I saw were that sales of electronic cigarettes had been pretty much doubling every year, and now have slowed a little. The growth has slowed, not the sales. Does that fit with what you're seeing?
No, the growth is not slowed at all. And I would say that, I would agree with Mr. O'Hara that there needs to be reasonable regulation. And I'll state that again, reasonable regulation. As it stands with the FDA regulations as they're drafted, it would, in essence, eliminate 99% of the products from the market. Okay? That would include hardware, that would include flavorant, that would include all these things. That is not in the interest of public health. If these things are far more, and they've been proven to be far more effective than NRTs, then cold turkey. So why is it that people who are advocating for public health are against these products? It baffles me.
We're not against the products. I advocate for public health. I'm not. I even said that I even bought some of these things for a friend of mine. Okay, I'm not against them. You keep saying we're against them. We are not. We just don't want to breathe it. Do you know that these things are exploding all over Heckingon?
That's another. Let me grab a quick phone call here.
Call up exploding
Let's
e-cigarettes.
go to Frederick County.
Like
this is Karen. Karen, thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Hello. I'm from Frederick, and I had a comment for the speakers.
Yes, go ahead.
A question about the vaping.
Yeah.
What I've read is that when people vape, they exhale formaldehyde and benzene, which are known carcinogens. And what I've seen, like when I was shopping in a store, there were people vaping in the store, and I'm a non-smoker, so I would think that these vape cigarettes, they would work just like cigarettes in the sense that it takes years for people who smoke to die, mostly, but it builds. See, this is bioaccumulative.
Karen, let me get you an answer to the question. Thanks very much for calling. What is the answer? Are these going to prove to be bad to people for a decade from now?
The studies to date show that these things are of a magnitude far safer than that of cigarettes. Now, we're not saying that they're completely safe, because there's nothing that's completely safe.
Fresh air is reasonably good, but
when you can
let me
find
bring
it.
up one other argument.
Let me liken that to playing Russian roulette.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
With 3 bullets in the chamber instead of 2, okay?
Ron.
No. The formaldehyde study that she spoke of was a Cook study, okay? And the New York Times retracted the article, because what they did with these units was they took them and they let them get dry from their liquid, and they just kept burning them and burning them and burning them until the elements in here burned out, which created that level of formaldehyde. This was a study that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine.
Before I totally run out of time, let me get one thought from both of you. 5 years from now, are we going to see people with these things all over the place, or is it going to prove to be a fad? What do you think?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be a fad at all, and that's one reason why I think they need to be regulated so that non-smokers and people who don't want to vape, non-vapors, don't want to vape that stuff, because he's talking about formaldehyde. You don't know what's in there. There are other things. Other people have made measurements, and it's the fine particle stuff. Like
Ron,
tobacco smoke.
just a few seconds. Are these going mainstream?
I think they are, unless the FDA has their way. If the FDA has their way and opponents of these products have their way, they will be either stricken from the market through excessive regulation, or they'll be stricken through the market through excessive taxation.
Ron Ward and John O'Hara, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. And just ahead in our health segment, reducing your risk for diabetes. We'll be right back.
Tonight on MPT.
Does the high cost of higher education make your head spin?
If you're worried about paying for college, you're not alone.
Mario Armstrong helps you navigate the twists and turns of financial aid.
I was really excited to know that this scholarship was actually perfect for me.
Learn about scholarships, grants, and loans that might be right for you.
There's no reason for you never to go back to school.
And talk to experts live throughout the show.
We're going to show you ways to pay for college.
Tonight at 8 on MPT.
After 28 years, how do you bring Eddie Murphy back to stand-up comedy? Give him the Mark Twain Prize.
Maybe you could call it the Mark Twain Surprise. Surprise, of course, being you ain't getting no money.
Join Dave Chappelle, Trevor Noah, Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan, and many more as Eddie Murphy receives the Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize for American Humor.
Tonight at 9 on MPT.
They were a very small group of very extreme people.
There's more to the story than the story we all know.
They weren't the people that you would expect to be founding a new colony.
The Pilgrims on American Experience.
Tuesday night at 8 on MPT. The next Maryland Farm and Harvest looks at helping the hungry.
50 families will be cooking with fresh produce tonight.
And Joanne visits a Charm City farm.
How is working this soil different than, say, on a regular farm?
That's next time on Maryland Farm and Harvest.
Tuesday night at 7 on MPT.
Joining us for this week's Your Health segment is Angela Ginn Meadows, Senior Diabetes Education Coordinator at the University of Maryland Center for Diabetes and Endocrinology at the UMMC Midtown campus. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you.
Everybody's heard of diabetes. What is pre-diabetes?
Well, every 19 seconds someone's diagnosed with diabetes.
Wow.
However, there are millions of people that have prediabetes. It's like one step in the door of having diabetes, but you can prevent it. And more of us need to prevent it because diabetes is really a disease that causes a lot of complications.
How is pre-diabetes defined?
It is defined by having A1C, and that is a blood sugar average over the past 2 to 3 months, and it's 5.7 to 6.4. So your doctor can do that, or can even test for oral glucose tolerance tests, or do a fasting value.
Does the patient know anything's wrong at that point?
No, and most people don't know that they're walking around with prediabetes. So getting screened every year is important, especially if you're at risk.
Are most physicians screening that aggressively? Is it in most doctors' offices either your glucose is okay or not okay?
So that's where I want my patients to be advocates. So if you are 40 or older, or if you have a parent or sibling with diabetes, if you're overweight, or if you're of color, or had a baby that was 9 pounds, you want to get screened every year.
Wow.
And it really creeps up. You have 5 years to get it together when you have prediabetes. That's kind of the window time frame. And if you do nothing about it or just say, I'm on the borderline, I'll get to it eventually, you will then be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
And as for what one can do about it, that brings us to the world's smallest shopping cart that you brought with you.
I always say you shop healthy first. So if you bring it home healthy, you'll most likely eat it.
If I had a shopping cart this size, I would lose a lot of weight.
You would. Yeah. But at least 60% of your cart should be fruits and vegetables in any forms. It could be fresh, canned, or frozen. The next part about it is what you put on your plate. So we both have a pen, and I want you to be able to section off your plate.
Okay. I'll play.
So we're going to think about Thanksgiving. Where would you put your mashed potatoes? Where would you put your turkey? And where would you put some vegetables?
Roughly, honestly, half and half turkey and mashed potatoes, and maybe a little section over here for the vegetables.
Okay. So really half of your plate
I think.
should be your veggies. So half your plate should be your vegetables, and then whatever starch you choose, it should go over in the corner, and whatever meat you choose should go right here. And that's a healthier plate.
Are you bringing the markers and the plates to your Thanksgiving dinner?
Well,
do people want to hear this?
I naturally eat like this. I'm at risk for diabetes. My dad had diabetes, my aunt, and both my grandmothers. So, and I'm African American, and African Americans are twice likely more at risk of having diabetes.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about diabetes or pre-diabetes, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen, or tweet your question. Our Twitter address is @MPT News. So how should people who have a risk factor, whether it's African American or another, think about it? I mean, should you think it's my destiny, I'm not going to fight it, or how would you look at it?
So diabetes does not have to be your destiny. You have to first get active. So it's recommended 150 minutes a week of exercise. That's roughly about 30 minutes 5 days a week, or 20 minutes almost every day. The other thing is you have to lose some weight. So maintaining and losing weight is really key. It doesn't have to be 50, 60, 70 pounds. It's just about 10% of your body weight.
And the importance of doing that, heading off diabetes to the past in terms of the rest of your life is huge.
It is. The first thing, get screened. So prediabetes, you can actually suffer from complications during that time of just having prediabetes, such as heart disease and also neuropathy. And if we can prevent it, you know, we can make sure you have a life full of quality.
Tell me about the diabetes prevention programs that you run.
Yeah, so we have, it's called DPP, and Diabetes Prevention Program was developed by the CDC. And they actually created a program that we know that we can lower your risk of diabetes and shave off the years of time. We have a great program at university, and it's free. And so we're looking for more people to sign up. It's a 16-week program, so it is a commitment.
You got to be there once a week, 16
Once a week
weeks?
for 16 weeks, and then we have a post-core program. But it's about learning your lifestyle. Lifestyle is the key here of preventing diabetes.
Who should sign up for that?
If you're at risk or if you have prediabetes, you want to make sure you sign up. And tell a friend. Guess what? Some people are walking around, they said their doctor told them something about prediabetes. They didn't know anything or do anything about it. But this is time to take some time for yourself.
How do you measure success in this program?
You measure success by 7% weight loss from the start to finish. And then you also measure success with getting active. And if you meet that 150 minutes of activity a week, you can do it. Our participants got up to 300 minutes a week, the highest up to 400 minutes a week.
Let's grab a phone call. Calvert County, this is Courtney. Courtney, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hi, I was wondering if it was possible to beat diabetes without going on medication.
Possible to beat it?
Yes, if you can control your diabetes without needing medication.
Once somebody's already diagnosed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Courtney, you are absolutely right. The first line of defense for type 2 diabetes is diet and exercise. Then we move to pills, injectables, and then insulin. But you can really control your diabetes with diet and exercise.
What's most important in terms of if you had to pick one? I mean, if somebody is clearly at risk and you have their attention and an opportunity to either work on lifestyle or diet, where do you start?
Lifestyle is the combination of exercise and nutrition. You can't do one without the other. So it's just like a ladder. There's no way it can stand on its own if you're just doing one. So it's really about the combination that works.
Talk about the education component of this. Outside the medical community, inside the medical community, what do you want people to know?
I think people need to know how to eat. We talked about shopping. We talked about what to put on your plate. We also talked about meals and dining out. The classes really give you a wide variety of things to help you with challenges that you may come about, reading labels, understanding what you're putting in your body that really can be harmful for you over time.
Very good. Angela Gilmetto is a Senior Diabetes Education Coordinator at the University of Maryland Center for Diabetes and Endocrinology. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, in just a few minutes tonight, MPT presents Ways to Pay for College. Here's Yolanda Vasquez with a preview.
Thanks, Jeff. For over 30 years, MPT has brought you a special called You Can Afford College that explored the financial maze of finding money to pay for higher education. In fact, way back in 1982, none other than Oprah Winfrey hosted it for us. Well, tonight we begin again with an all-new production called Ways to Pay for College, where Mario Armstrong guides you through the many twists and turns of finding a little bit of money to pay for school. During this program, we'll have financial aid advisors in our studio ready to take your phone calls and questions, and I'll interview a few more experts. So hold on tight and enjoy the ride with Maryland Public Television's Ways to Pay for College. We'll see you then.
Yolanda, thank you. We will stay tuned, and we're back Thursday at this time for Your Money and Business, and then Friday with State Circle. Now, for all of us here at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.